Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Forecast. We're about to have the highly anticipated Ryan Zolin. Super, super, super stoked to have him on. He is going to add tremendous value, as we all know. I got plenty of questions for him, but really, I just want to kind of get to know him as a person, get to know some of the things that he likes, and really know what he plans to do in the future. He's been able to do so many good things starting out. I just want to know what his plans are to finish this up, and I know he's got a long way to go, but I'm sure he has plans. So that's going to be exciting. We're also doing the 4 Mastermind accountability group, and we're on day 5. It's been really cool. A couple of people have been showing up every single night. So if you're in that place where you don't really know in real estate and you just need a little bit of accountability, please come check us out. 4 Mastermind Facebook page. Super, super cool. And until then, let's wait till Razo gets here. Let's do it.
There we go.
There he is. What's
How's it going?
up?
Not much, man. Sorry about the confusion. I'm clearly not well versed in Central Eastern Standard Time.
Listen, bro, I've had quite a few of you Arizonians on, and none of y'all seem to really know what time it is in Birmingham, Alabama.
Definitely not. Definitely not. We are in our own little world over here, man.
Listen, bro, I don't blame you, honestly. I really don't. Um, so the creator of the agent investors
That's us
community,
right
man.
there.
Look
That's
at that.
us. Let's go.
How's that been going, man? What were your expectations of it going in versus kind of what it's been like?
Expectations going in, I think I did a good job up front, not really setting expectations. I didn't really know exactly what I was getting into. I just knew that I had a path in real estate and it worked. Um, as for what it's been, I mean, if you don't have expectations and it blows up, it ends up kind of being surreal in a lot of ways. So there's been a lot of moments where I've had to like kind of pinch myself and take myself out of even just what I feel like this reality is and just be grateful. So lots of gratitude, lots of appreciation. More importantly, there's even more fulfillment. I get to see people go from not doing any deals to learning a completely new process. And next thing you know, I mean, they're making tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, every month. So it's awesome.
Yeah, man, and it's really been amazing because I kind of got in and I was seeing the wholesale hotline, and so you're out there in Arizona, obviously, and you're starting. You're a young guy, and then you got Pace, Jamil, and Brent, and they got 3 of the biggest, best, baddest communities out there. It's a really bold move for you to say, "All right, look here, I'm going to do this and jump in." So that had to take a lot of balls right there. What did that feel like? Was it like
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
I don't know. Yes
confident?
and no. Yes and no. I mean, like these guys, they're friends of mine. They're guys I look up to, and um, outside of Brent, I mean, I also had Steve to the mix too. Steve launched his podcast, Real Estate Disruptors, right before I joined, or right after I joined his brokerage, Stunning Homes. Jamil launched Astro like 2 months later, and I was one of the first guys in there. Pace didn't have sub two when he was first, or when I was first getting involved in wholesaling and all this stuff. So these guys are like very big icons and figures in the real estate space. But to me, I look at them as humans, like these are
Yeah,
just guys that I got to grow with and see their, I mean, exponential growth, dude. Like they had the business experience, they had the life experience, lots of relationships prior in the industry that everything they've done has been honestly so inspiring for me. And I don't look at it at all as competition. We all talk collaboration over competition to begin with.
yeah,
Agent investors wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for Brent. And if you notice, Brent was the only guy that I didn't mention that he was already doing TTP, like Wholesaling Inc. had his brand, and Brent has been the guy that I always looked up to. I didn't really know him up until about, I think it was almost a year and a half ago now. But
man.
I mean, he's the guy that pushed me to go do agent investors. He's like, you are doing all of these MLS deals, you are working with agents, you know how to talk both sides. Why are you not doing this? And if you don't, somebody else will. So that's what kind of pushed me over the edge to do it. And it's cool because all of those guys I can reach out to and ask for any questions and support. And I know that they can do the same with me too. So
Yeah, well, even from my perspective of like even seeing you and Brent on the Millionaire Before 30 and just seeing like where y'all started and how far it's gone. Like it's
Mhm.
just crazy to see that. So,
Well,
but you,
literally, dude, I mean, Agent Investors was formed in kind of like the middle of that all. I joined with Brent and we were doing the show, and I was kind of just the quiet guy. Brent was the one that I don't really tell the story often, but like he kind of called me out. He was like, bro, you're doing big things, you're doing all these deals, you're making a name for yourself. What's your goal? Like, are you going to be this guy that's just loud on social media, or are you going to try to build a community, a course, and bring value to this marketplace? And I was like, dang, all right, well, again, going back to if I don't do it, somebody else will. What was my goal? And I found a lot of passion and joy in teaching. And so yeah, going back from the first episode where we were, you could even see me on the camera where I'm like freaking out, all nervous and stuff. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
by the time you look at the next one, the last videos, I mean, I'm just dancing around, having a good time. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can definitely tell your confidence level is like you just seem like you belong there now, as opposed to where you're first getting in there. Obviously, you knew everything. It just felt a
Right.
little like uneasy, I guess.
Out of my realm of comfort for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess I've kind of been opposite. I've been like really, really loud, but like I got to be like more better on my action and like better with my relationships and stuff like that. But so it really started. You signed up with a brokerage with Steve. Is that what you said? You,
For the investment side, for me to really like take off the piece, like the puzzle piece that if you're referring to the tipping point, domino, however you want to refer to it, at that point when I joined Steve is when it all blew up. It all took off and went to the next level. Prior to that, I was at Keller Williams. I went to a small like brokerage out here in Arizona, and then I went to EXP, and then after that went over to Steve. And then Steve, I was with him for the last 3 years. He shut down his brokerage this year and moved over to Real with
hmm
Ryan Pineda, and so we did the same.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've been kind of on the fence. Like I started getting my realtor's license and I still have the course to like finish through it.
Yeah.
And the reason that I really haven't made the decision is because I guess I'm probably like a little I'm not as informed as I need to be about the situation, I guess, because I know that there's a lot of different ways to build a business in real estate and make money, and you
Mm-hmm.
know going to be an agent is like a different thing than going to try
It
to do
most
something else.
definitely is. I tell people when they're on the fence in this situation that you need to really just evaluate what you're doing every day. If what you're doing aligns with having a license and you could benefit and make more money by having it, do it. The only reason I still have my license is now being at Real, it's a multi-level marketing company. I don't try to hide that
hmm
from anybody, but we put people underneath us. So I have my license that needs to be active for the benefit of it. That's one. Two, MLS access. Everything we do is on market and working with agents. So if we can get the commission to buy it, it makes sense in these transactions. So that's what we love to do. As for your situation, are you going direct to seller? Are you working on market deals? Are
All
you
realtor outreach only.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're working with just a realtor, you don't necessarily need your license. I mean, if you get to the point where you start doing on market deals or you start actually buying the properties and flipping and then going to sell, you could save some money with being able to list it yourself.
hmm
Aside from that, it's not necessary. It's just a way to make more money. I will tell you, there's a very good chance in the near future that you will need a license in order to
Yeah.
wholesale. But I mean, that is what it is. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know when that would be. And I don't think it's something you got to be dropping all of what you're doing to go and get a real estate license.
Right.
They teach you all of the things that are scary and that how you could lose your license. And honestly, I'll tell you, being an investor first going to an agency side is not as easy as it is being an agent going to being an investor. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, and when I'm thinking about it too, like, you know, the laws, whenever they do come down, if they do come down, I'm like looking at it from a timing standpoint. I'm like, okay, I'm jumping into this and I'm going, balls to the wall. Really, the last episode when I had the Trana Bros and they gave me a 90-day action plan, like I've really started getting a daily workflow and like feeling
good.
some momentum. And I'm gonna follow that to the T. And I'm just thinking like if I'm on the right timeline, I shouldn't even need it unless I'm doing some sort of multi-level marketing thing like
Yeah.
this.
And even then, I mean, like, I don't recommend having a license just for multi-level marketing. Like we're at a brokerage where I can build a community around us because we have licenses. That's what makes sense. But for someone that's just trying to get started and stuff, I could see real estate license being a distraction. Personally, I would
Mm,
always advise going and getting it just to begin with. especially if you haven't done a deal. Just because, like I said a second ago, being an investor first and learning all of how a transaction's done, it's going to break your brain when you go from learning how to actually do the business to what they teach you in real estate school. Real estate school, they don't teach you how to do the business. They teach you all the legalities and, again, scarcity things that you need to be aware of and how you could lose your license, get sued, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I've went through like maybe 50% of that course, and it's kind of like
sure.
I've learned so much more from like your
Doing.
YouTube, like going
Mhm.
through like all this, you got comping with Kyle, and like I go and I watch your content, man. It's awesome
Appreciate
that
that, bro.
Brent like was able to like push you out into like doing that, because you're really, really starting to get some traction and gain some value. You're helping people out through agent investors. And one of the most admirable things about it is you've been able to keep that level of humbleness, and it's even like visible like just through a computer screen.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I always tell this story. Like I wasn't always like that. I had to really work on personal development and change a lot of what went up here. I had to change a lot of my thoughts and which led to my actions, and it just became a routine. At the end of the day, I've been surrounded by people where ego was everything, entitlement. I teach a lot of people that E&E within the team, like you can't have either. And I've gone through that. Even recently, I've had issues and struggles with team, like people and within teams, within organizations, and within my life where got to cut that stuff off. It's never easy, but it's hard. It's really hard to identify. And then what is easy is allowing it to stay and just continue. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I had to look at for face value. Do I want to be the guy that even I'm not like fond of being around, or do I want to be the guy that everybody can come to and be approachable and just be that role model? So now it's just about being 1% better every day, back what I say I'm going to do, and just stay consistent. I'm in this for a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, I'm 24 years old. I'm not here to burn any bridges, ruin any relationships, screw anybody over, or anything like that. I've always led just trying to be more fair. And honestly, I mean, the rest is just the world's going to happen how it's supposed to. So
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe everything's laid out how it's supposed to. Um, and the mindset thing, dude, that's so when I first jumped into real estate, actually, so the one time that I met you at that Starbucks when we were at Clever Summit, that was like right around like when I was really jumping in and like trying to learn. And when I came back and when I came back, I was a little bit overwhelmed with like just everything. And Catherine and I both have been through an addiction, heroin and cocaine, for like 3 to 4 like really, really bad years. And at that point I was like a year, maybe like a little bit over a year sober. And when I got back, like what I realized, I was like, I want to be doing the work, and I want to be doing all these things that Ryan and everybody at Clever is doing. But like in my head, bro, I was not ready to do it. Like I was trying, like, so like I went through, this little phase of like fighting my own demons in my head, of just like trying to get in the mental space. So like there was a time where I took back and I was like only reading books and like just working on myself, and like took the real estate back for a second. And now that I've really kind of done that and started like building towards this action, I've gotten into where I can do a daily workflow. And it's, a lot of it started with yours and Brent's 75-day challenge, when y'all told me to go take an hour of my day and go
mhm.
focus it on myself. Like when y'all did that, I started doing that, and it really, really helped me. Like no joke, 100%. So,
Well, dude, that's
um,
awesome. I mean, that's what we do it for. It's to be able to make the difference. We don't like, it's funny because like everyone's like, oh, you've got all these like affiliate things or whatever things you're trying to upsell. It's like people don't realize that the stuff we do, it's what we do with our business. So everything that we say, it's not just that we're pulling it out of our ass. We're literally saying this is the steps that you have to do in order to have success. It's funny
mhm.
because when you start teaching, you realize that all the people that are worried about giving away all their secrets, none of that matters. 90% of the people don't do anything with it. The 10% that do, that's who make the difference. That's who end up getting themselves in the rooms and in the conversations and starting podcasts. And you start gaining momentum. the most important thing I'll tell you is just don't get distracted. Like, I think it's huge that you're able to identify like the real estate license. That to me in your situation, because a lot of other shows I go on and stuff, I tell people go get your license. I'll still tell you to get it over time, but in this current moment with your specific situation, it's a distraction. I think what you need to do is just consistently do what you're doing right now. You have a daily workflow, continuously get better, figure out how to get deals. You just need to start with one. That's how we say it on the show with Brent, is that you got to transition from faith to fact. And honestly, I could tell you like all day long that while I was trying to provide value from that show, I was getting it for myself just being next to Brent, being on that show and being able to hear what he says and what his thoughts are and what his problems are he has in his business as he's having to problem solve those 10 minutes before the show. Right after the show ends, he goes, sits down, pulls out his phone, has to respond to a bunch of messages. That's the kind of stuff that I learned from. So
That's
it's
got to
cool
be
that
so valuable.
it was insane. It was cool to be able to teach, but also get value. It was a win-win across the board. And more importantly, I felt like the community just got closer. So it was fun.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. It's been super cool to watch. So you're 24 years old. You're doing so well. What do you do? Like, what do you do for fun, man? What's Ryan Zolin do with a little bit of his fun money?
Thanks, man. I appreciate all that. It's tough. I go through the same struggles that a lot of people do. I'm normal, I'm human. I also run business. So at the end of the day, while I have a method that doesn't cost a lot of money, I have multiple other businesses that do cost a lot of money. So I go through the same cash flow issues. I go through money being tight and got to do what I got to do. I'm pretty responsible for the most part with my money. I mean, I've got those moments where I pull the trigger on stupid things. But for the most part, my fun time, it's just like a normal 24-year-old dude. I like to go out and hang out with my buddies. We watch football, we go watch some sports, we travel, go see some baseball stadiums. I like to play some video games with them. Aside from that, I'm just a pretty easygoing guy. I like to get all my stuff done. I'm trying to implement something with the team where we could be like done by 2-3 o'clock. And then after that, just take it easy. Like, we got what we needed to done in the very focused 6-7 hours. Aside from that, we're all in real estate to enjoy. This is the freedom and flexibility part. I feel like everyone's like in this hustle mode and they think you got to be putting in 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. There's a time and a place. And absolutely, there's surely moments that I still have to put in those crazy hour days. But all in all, it doesn't need to be that way. And I think that we've got a good path and system that allows us to have the flexibility. So that's what we're going to double down on.
Yeah, yeah, and before I even ask that, like, I know that obviously you've got your finances obviously fixed out, and you don't spend your money on crazy things like that. But I guess I was just kind of asking more of a just to get to know you level.
Sure. No,
I
for
see
sure, man.
the Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah, man. That's my shelf with all my stuff, all my books, and I got a bunch of crystal stuff, and then awards up top, and then Bears and knickknack stuff on the second.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so
Football
like,
is always rough for me, but that's the one I'm most passionate about. It's I mean, Sundays. That's the one thing I always tell people is during football season, Sundays. I'm sorry, I'm not there. If you need me, don't text me. I'll respond after the game, and if the Bears lost, give me a little bit of time.
I've
So
always been the same exact way. Even and with the Cowboys, we haven't won since I
um,
guess it's 95, 96, like maybe the first year I was born. So
right.
good deal, man. Let's see. Obviously surrounding yourself with the right people is key, and you've kind of been doing some of that yourself by doing these meetups in
Mm-hmm.
Arizona. How's that been going for you? I know I haven't been able to attend. I sent you a DM the other day. I was like, damn, bro, I wish I could go. But what's it like being able to throw events like that, have all these people come, and like, what's your kind of mindset going in there? And what are you going in there to add value?
Mm-hmm.
What's your mission in there?
Yeah, so I felt like a lot of people were doing things wrong, like I again got to keep it real, dude. Like, I'm a capitalist. There's nothing wrong with that. But I
Yeah.
think the problem when people take advantage of people, or they go and they say they're going to do something and they don't follow through the proper way, it bothers me. So I feel like events, there was always like that upsell. There was always you go to the event and at the end there's the right hook, sign up for this, buy that, do this, whatever. I feel like most of the people that go to meetups, what I was able to understand, it's funny because I can be both the extrovert and the introvert, but Wholeheartedly, deep down inside, I feel like I'm more introverted. I would rather be at home by myself in the quiet, just minding my own business, than out at a party, going and enjoying whatever. And I think that meetups, what people have to acknowledge is that for a lot of people that show up to those, this is their first time. Of course, you got the guys that show up every month, you got the guys that are active in the industry, but I'm not referring to the meetups for them. I'm talking about the people that are brand new, the people that found us through social media or referred to us by a friend or an agent that wants to learn more about the investment side, and they're just scared. Most people's mindset when they walk in the door of a meetup is, I hope nobody talks to me. So I wanted to do my meetups very different. I've got sponsors, yes, I've got people that come up and talk. I cap them at like 2 minutes. So my speakers that go that are like the people that if we even have sponsorships, full transparency, the last year I've spent over $12,000 of my own money in these meetups with like no expectation of it coming back. It hasn't come in through deals with us because I'm not pushing it as actively as we should. What we are doing is we're relying on the community to just be the community. But I come out of pocket with my own money for that because I don't want to have to make this a sales pitch. So when people come to these meetups, they know 2 to 5 minutes at most of sponsored speakers. And then from there, we have a guest speaker. If not, I'll just talk for 15, 20 minutes. The rest of the time, food, drink, hang out, let's talk. One of my like things, I don't like to tell people all my secrets of what we do like at these events, but I always make the same joke every month. I don't care for those that hear it over and over again, but I always try to make sure the people that are new, they understand it. For whatever reason, us in real estate can go knock on doors to random sellers and get told to F off 20 times a day. But what we can't do is show up to a networking event and actually network. So who here is a realtor? Who here is a buyer? Who here is a wholesaler? Who here has private money? Who here has this? Who here has that? Everybody raises their hand. I'm like, now that you've all gotten to be weird and stalked who you want to go talk to that person. So I just try to get people pushed out of their comfort zone. I try to break things down, but all in all, it's for the community. I wanted to be able to do things different and just show that meetups can actually be meetups. Like we can actually go and network and there's no sales pitch. I have AI, I've got agent investors as a course, and we've even had like parties with AI stuff, like where we had balloons and like a launch party, but I never once go up there and say, hey, this is my course, go buy it, here's a discount. We get their information. Yes, they're on our email list in our community, but most of the emails we send out are value. It's videos for YouTube. It's here's something I learned today. Here's my latest and greatest. It's not a go buy this and here you go. Yeah, of course, we have a course to sell, but no, I found if I led with value first, that reciprocity will come back, whether it's through a course sale or people doing deals together, relationships made. It's all fulfillment.
Very wise, very wise. I've had that feeling of being at a real estate meetup and just not really saying anything, but just kind of like hanging out,
taking it in.
And
I get it.
That's an area that I feel can be so strong, and that's why I asked, because although I can't pick up and move to Arizona right this second, what I can do is make the Birmingham community stronger. So I'm taking from everybody that I talk to, and I'm trying to just add value where I can. Here, I've got like a little accountability group running for like 90 days on my 90-day challenge. So like, I'm just like literally trying everything. So like, it's like you said, bro, you just got to manifest it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to have faith. You got to believe that the treasure's out there and you're going to be the one that's going to find it.
For sure. And I mean, also you got to do the work, like you got to put in the action steps. And that's the funniest thing about social media. And that's why I hate it, is that it's all comparison. Everyone's like, oh my God, so-and-so did a deal, I hate them for that. Like what's like, no, so-and-so did a deal. Instead of you getting upset and judging them, what you need to do is change your mindset to be like, that's proof of concept. I could do this too. If anything, if you're upset, ask yourself why you're upset. Are you upset that it was a deal that you think you should have gotten, or are you upset because you think you're better than them? And the irony is that most people end up thinking that they're better than the person who got the deal, so that's why they feel that they deserve it. So then my question that I follow up with that is that why can't you do it too? So if you can really reverse engineer everything and break it all down, it just needs to be consistent action steps. You're doing a 90-day plan, that's huge. Surround yourself with the people, and the ones that are in that accountability group, that's your squad. Aside from that, you hit it right on the head. Go and provide value to Birmingham, Alabama. Go and do meetups. Like you don't need to spend money on it. When I first started, I did it inside my office building. The only thing that sucked was that it's just not centrally located. So I decided to move it and just take money out of my pocket. So when you're first starting, Have people over to your house. Have people go to a
Man,
little picnic at a park. Who cares? Like,
listen, Catherine, her parent or her dad owns a company, and they got like a huge warehouse. So
so what you should do is you should call a
yeah,
hard money lender and see if they would pay for a pizza for everybody. They can come and talk for 5-10 minutes, and then you guys have a little networking event at that venue, and you spend a couple hours talk. Give everybody just insight. At the end of the day, the one thing that I have regrets on that I didn't do when I first started wasn't even going to the wholesale side first. I've realized that I've had to go to be an agent to learn how to be the investor. But what I want people to understand is the one thing that I should have done that I didn't was document. You're doing it all right now, and you have this podcast, and you're growing and doing it all. I think that you said this earlier, and it's a very fine line you got to walk, because you have to document your journey and your process, but you have to do the work and grow. Don't get stuck in being the guy that's just documenting and not doing, or consistently trying to learn and not do. What you need to do is document while doing, and document the doing. Like, you're door knocking, you're doing this. Right now on these podcasts, I think it's kind of funny, but like, you should take a photo with everybody that does a Zoom with you and post it on your Instagram and on your Facebook and on your TikTok, and have them share it, have them repost it. Because now you're drawing their audience in, you're getting everybody to then share the stuff in the podcast that they're on. That's how you collaborate and grow.
hmm
That's what it's all about. And obviously the value has to come to the content. But if you're documenting what you're doing, the reason I'm upset that I didn't do it is because, of course, I could look back, hindsight's 2020, where I've gotten to and where I started. I literally had
yeah,
nothing. I had no money, no connections, no experience, no family connections in real estate, nothing to this. I wish I documented more to be able to go and see the journey. I have photos of offices, and I'm trying to put together like this little PowerPoint to be able to show everybody
hmm
one day. But I don't have the video of me crying, being like, this sucks. I don't have the video or the words written down in journals of me saying, I can't be in real estate anymore. I don't have this. I don't have what it takes. So and so is better than me. This is not going to work. Like, I had all the limiting beliefs. I had everything that was possibly wrong was going wrong. And
yeah,
quite frankly, I feel like the cards were stacked against me. So if that's how I felt, I can only imagine when I put things into perspective of people that didn't have a similar situation to me, that I feel like I still had the ability to go and do this. I did it. But those that grew up where I had 3 years of living at home with my parents that I didn't have to pay rent, like, that's huge.
hmm
I still failed during that time, which should tell everybody everything they need to hear. So if I have the awareness that 3 years was lucky for me to have, people that don't have situations like that, if you're able to come out of it and make it, understand, of course, percentages are low. You're going to do it. You will do this. And you documenting it is going to also be a way of you holding yourself accountable to growing. Because all of a
hmm
sudden, if you're not growing, you're not going to feel comfortable getting up there talking. That's
yeah,
where I'm saying, like, the videos of crying, stuff like that, the vulnerability is never easy. But to look back now, I regret not having the videos of me crying, because I want to be able to look as a reminder where there's also days in year 6 that I'm like, damn, this is tough. Looking back and be like, yeah, I couldn't afford food that day. Like, that's a different mindset. And then I don't feel as sorry for myself. That's the mentality you want to get and create. And that all comes through documenting your journey. It's also a lot cooler when you can look back at the end and see it.
man, that was so powerful. It's so cool to hear you say that, and just knowing where you're at, where your mindset is right now, man. You're absolutely killing it. What is um looking forward? What do you got in the books? Like, is there
Yeah,
anything in the future?
for sure. And also, to just to clarify, let's be real, this market shift, I'm not killing it, bro. I want to act like as if like I'm this guy doing 20, 30. No way. And we're not doing that many deals anymore. We're
Mm-hmm.
like consistently the last 2 months, it's like 3 to 5 deals. So nothing special over here. The most beautiful thing of a market shift like this is that I'm recession proof. Anyone that wholesales, you're the buyer and the seller. You've taken away any variable that you can't succeed or reason as to why you can't succeed. But what you need to understand is that I'm not over leveraged. Like, I've got an office building. That's the only thing that really keeps me in check every single month of like, I got to write a check. I'm in business. Damn it. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. But in comparison to direct to seller methods, or in comparison to where people are spending a bunch of money going in marketing, traditional real
Mm.
estate, wholesalers, whatever it is, the market shifts. There's a lot of people I know that are dropping $50,000 to $70,000 of their marketing budget because they don't want to lose that. There's no guarantee they're going to get deals. So our strategy, while the market shift happened, it's okay. We're good. We're exploring other markets and looking at different opportunities to get back up to that 10, 15, 20 deals a month.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 to 5, I'm consistent with it. I'm happy with it right now. We'll get back up when the market kind of flattens. Aside from that, vision and goal, I'm trying to just build up the community. We've got a lot going on right now with Real over at our new brokerage, bringing people on underneath us and building them up. And then agent investors, we just passed over 300 students. So trying to get that up and going, as well as just being the resource for my team, for my other businesses, just trying to figure out which hat I got to wear, which day, which hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Congratulations. It's such a cool thing. One last thing before we go.
Sure.
It kind of ties into all this. I was kind of watching some YouTube of yours before we got on this podcast, and I was literally watching your Rolling with Zolin, like episode 2. And
Yeah.
like I'm just looking at the picture right now, and it's just like, man, that's right. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. Just got to keep on going. Like, do
Yeah.
not stop. Like you said, don't get stuck. And what I said and what I mean by everybody that's came onto this podcast, every single person. I've really watched the episode back and really taken everything that they've said to heart. And I'm gonna do the same with yours, man. You've came on and I've absolutely enjoyed talking to you, man. You're super awesome, laid back, down to earth guy, just like when I met you at Starbucks when you were wearing the coolest shoes that I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Let's go, bro.
Freaking, let's send deals. Best shoes
Well,
ever,
I
man.
appreciate it, and thank you for having me on. Sorry again for the delay. I didn't, Central Time, Eastern
All
Standard,
good.
Arizona's in its own lane, apparently.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you having me on, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. I mean, I see you out there, and at the end of the day, like literally, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I just started wholesaling. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have all these answers. I appreciate, and I like honestly, it gives me a lot of like humility to things. Like when people tell me all the cool things I've done, it's awesome. But I'm content but not satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still going. I'm trying to grow. So grow with me, grow with the community. Just keep providing value and doing what you do, and you'll be there too.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And have a good
For
rest
sure.
of your day, okay?
You too. I appreciate you, bro. Talk to you
All
soon.
right. For sure.